Hi everyone, welcome into Soulflower Holistic Wellness Consulting. Happy holidays. The holidays are upon us. And as promised, I wanted to come in and talk to you a little bit about what it feels like to be a widow or widower during the holidays. I don't have any script, I'm not following any outline. I'm just kind of talking candidly as if I were just talking to a friend. So I hope this helps. But what I wanted to say was, and I thought about some of the things that I feel and what I felt. First of all, what I'm going to say is if you are newly widowed, recently widowed, I guess I should say, there are steps of grief. And I'll just kind of scathe through them, but really and truly, I want you to go and research them, read about them, and work through each step because that will help you. A blanketed statement that I'll make right now is whatever you do not shove it down. Don't pretend it didn't happen. Don't try to appease others by putting a happy, celebratory smile on your face and walking around like everything's okay. I'm not saying also to just walk around bawling and crying and in front of everybody either, because that's an energy. Um, you don't want to have negative energies or low vibrations, and you certainly don't want to pass that on to anybody else. You know, but what I'm saying is, you don't have to put on a front for anybody. Um, Go through the steps if this is all new and really sit in each step. Feel the pain, cry, um, and just follow some of the advice and guidelines, getting through it. One other overall statement that I'll make, and I'm speaking from experience, I'm not a licensed counselor or therapist. I'm an experienced widow. I've been widowed twice, once at 38 and once at 58. And if you watched the previous videos, and if you didn't, I suggest going back and taking a look at them because this conversation will make a little bit more sense. I did things very differently when I was a younger widow than I did the second time. And I learned from mistakes that I had made. And being widowed at 38, I didn't have a lot of support or help. I didn't have someone that I could go to, per se, with experience that could kind of guide me through getting out of it a little bit easier than what I did. So anyway, what I want to say is, when you lose somebody, the day-to-day life, walking around the house, listening to songs that maybe you and your spouse or significant other had listened to, that brings up feelings of emotion throughout the year. Um, Looking at a coffee cup that's in the cabinet that your spouse used a lot, or going into the pantry and seeing the cereal box or some food item that your spouse enjoyed. These are everyday things that you experienced with that person. Um, and over time, it kind of diminishes. And, the first month, couple of months, you open up that cabinet and you see your spouse's coffee cup sitting there. You may break down and cry or fall on your face every day for 4 weeks just looking at the cup. Or hearing songs, popular songs that the two of you listen to, you know. But over time, within the year, 24 months, whatever, it diminishes. And when you open the pantry and you see the food item that you and your spouse enjoyed together, it doesn't hurt as much. You can eat that food by yourself and You're not bawling and crying over it, you know. You may still feel tinges of emotion with it, but, you know, it doesn't hit to the core. And I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. If you've been widowed or if you're a widower, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Um, you know, it's like summertime too. Maybe there's a garden that the two of you planted. Um, you know, those type things. Just the day-to-day, everyday life, mundane. But when the holidays come, that Christmas, for instance, comes once a year. So the Christmas tree or the ornaments that you and your spouse collected together or decorated each holiday with, or festive lights that you used to go together to go see. You know, you looked forward to getting in the car and going and seeing a carnival of lights somewhere. That only happens once a year. And even if your spouse has been gone 5, 10 years, you've only experienced that hurt 5 or 10 times. Whereas looking at that coffee cup that was in the cabinet that brought initial pain, you know, you did that 5 times in a week, right? Or opened up that pantry and maybe 5 times in a month you saw the food item that the two of you enjoyed together. Or if it's just a pop song or, you know, a CD that you listen to together and it's in your car, you know, you may listen to that just by habit 10 or 15 times a month. So you desensitize to that emotion rather quickly. And you'll find, like within the year, that's not hurting as much as it did initially. But again, the holidays, Christmas happening once a year, it's all fresh. Okay? Those holiday celebration lights that you just got in the car together to go see every year, if they passed away last year, you experienced that one time. Year 2 rolls around. Now you've only experienced it twice. You may have a flood of emotion that you never expected with something like that, or putting up your Christmas tree and decorating with the ornaments you two collected. Again, it's only happened twice. If you're in your 3rd year of bereavement, it has only happened 3 times. The Christmas carols that play on the radio, or the Christmas movies that you watch together traditionally, you know, once a year. So if you watch them the 1st year of the death and it caused a flood of emotion that I couldn't even, you know, watch it because it was just so painful. Well, if you're on year 2 or year 3, then there's a possibility that you've only seen that movie 3 times. So why I'm doing this is to let you know it's natural and it's normal to absolutely be flooded by emotion, heartache again, very raw, during the holiday season. And friends and family, if they're watching you and they're looking at you, they're wondering probably what's wrong. You know, in their minds, they're going, oh, they passed away 3 years ago. You know, why is she looking like that or feeling like that or acting like that? They don't understand that this is only the 3rd time you've experienced it since the death. So that's like getting up on day 3 from the death and looking at the cup in the cupboard. It's that kind of emotion. It hits hard and it hits heavy. And you're feeling it pretty much in solitude. Because someone who hasn't experienced it, I will tell you, they will not understand it. And like I said in the videos past, losing a parent is different than losing a spouse. I've lost both. So there is definitely a difference. So your children aren't going to feel that same flood of emotion that you're going to feel. They're going to feel emotion, everybody does, but it's different than when you've lost that life partner. somebody that, you know, you couldn't wait for the holidays to come to share with and that type thing. So I wanted to come in and just say, be kind to yourself, love yourself first, wrap your arms around yourself, hold your own hand, hug yourself, tell yourself you love you. Look in the mirror and tell you that during the holiday season. Be gentle to yourself and be kind to yourself, because in all likelihood, no one else will. Not to the extent that your spouse would have or that you would have needed. It's the same with gift giving. When you bought for your spouse and you went Christmas shopping with a family member or friend, you know, they're looking for their husband's gift or their wife's gift. And when they were alive, you were looking for your spouse's gift too. You know, it's fun to pick out things that they liked. You may find yourself going through the stores and you see something and just that split second say, oh, I could get that for, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, what am I thinking? I did it just the other day. That's why I've mentioned it. And I'm in year 3 from my last spouse. There was, he was a motorcycle rider. He liked to ride Harley Davidsons. And I was going through a store and there was this Harley rider. It was a statue and kind of looked like him with the beard and the mustache and the long ponytail and everything. And just for that split second, I was going to grab it to buy it for him. Year 3. So you may experience something like that as well. And again, like I said, there's no one else that is going to understand that except for somebody that has already been through it and has lived it. You know, it's like the gift giving. You get gifts from other people and you're very appreciative of whatever you get. But it's not the same as having your spouse buy intimate gifts for you. Gifts that they know you at such a deep level that they buy you these things out of love and intimacy and just that closeness. And those gifts have stopped for you. You'll see others, you know, in your family, husbands and wives, your children and their spouses, or your siblings and their spouses, and they're giving each other these intimate gifts and you're sitting there. You're receiving gifts too, but it's not the same kind. And there is a level of pain that comes along with that. So, and it's not about feeling sorry for yourself, not at all. Because I told you in one of the last videos, you know, you've really got to stand up and, you know, take the initiative not to sit in that. You don't want to be identified by that. You don't want people looking across the room 3 years later and going, oh, poor widow or poor widower. That's not what it's about, and that's not what we want. We can't help the deep-seated feelings or emotions, nor should we have to, right? So I'm just kind of, you know, kind of prefacing some of this for anybody that may need it, and to know that it's perfectly normal, and it's outside of those initial steps of getting over the grief and dealing with the bereavement. It's beyond that. The holidays are. And I think Christmas more so than any other, and, you know, unless you really, you know, had another holiday like an Easter or something like that, was very family oriented as well. But for the most part, Christmas is the big one. And it is a painful time. You know, when you sit down to the holiday dinners and, you know, everybody's, you know, doing the same traditional things and having the same traditional food. And you're sitting there and you're partaking and you're a part of it. but that seat next to you, hypothetically, it's empty. And the others around the table, their seats are not empty. They're there. They're leaning over to their spouse and they're talking and they're sharing the food and they're sharing, and you're participating with family and friends. But it's extremely different. So I just wanted to come in to say it's okay to feel the pain. It's okay to have those things well up in you that you didn't think were there any longer. And sometimes, if you can hear these things in advance to it happening, it's not such a shock to your system. Again, by experience, I know this. I knew what to expect even with the second death from the first. I was a lunatic after the first one. I had no idea. I was like a dog chasing its tail, spinning in circles. I thought I was losing my mind. It was like there was nobody that was understanding anything. And yet the people that love you, they think they're helping and they think that they're, and that's wonderful. And accept it and receive it, because it's with love that they give to you. But it's not the same as having your spouse. And, I know myself, this holiday season up and coming, we always went to the same family, same place, traveled together to get there. Even the travel together was fun. We set out, it was a Christmas adventure. We knew Christmas was coming, and that was kind of like our time to just be together and travel and look forward to the kids and the grandkids and the opening of the gifts. And now I'm traveling alone. There's nobody beside me when I'm traveling. I do it by myself. And I try not to bawl and cry when I do it. That first year, man, it was hard. I mean, I wasn't even sure if I was going to get through it. The second time, not just the first time, the second time at Christmas, I was just walking around and I couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't even get away from myself, if that makes sense. Nowhere to get to. And when you can't get away from your own self, that's pretty painful. So, and I know that when I'm home, we're going to visit some of these same Christmas festivities and see some of the same Christmas lights, and all the rest of the family's intact, but I'm not intact. Even though I have my family that I love dearly and I cherish more than anything in this world. And I'm so grateful and I thank God every day that I have them, my kids and my grandchildren especially. I just thank God for them every day. And, they help me in so many ways. But not having your spouse beside you is a very painful thing, and also in the first video I told you I remarried like within months of the death of my first husband, which was absolute catastrophe. I was trying to find somebody to put in that chair. Didn't care who it was. Trying to fill that void and that hole that was so painful and that hurt. But you can't do that. And hopefully some of these videos will help you understand that you can't do that. You've really got to experience it alone and go through it alone. Cry, sit in the pain. That's the best thing you can do. It's an awful thing, but it's the best thing at the same time, simultaneously. So sit in it. One thing that I learned that first Christmas after losing my second husband was, and Deepak Chopra is a great teacher of mine, and I understood where a lot of the pain was coming from. Because what I would do, and I did it with my first husband too, was codependency and attachment. And I would attach myself, not just love and and share life together, but in a literal, psychologically attached to these husbands. And attachment causes suffering. You can love somebody, you can share a life with somebody and live with somebody without mentally and emotionally attaching yourself to that person. Because one thing that is true is we are in a temporary experience, all of us, every single one of us. Okay? Some of us leave sooner than others, but we are spirits living in a temporary human condition. And we're all leaving. We all came, and we are here for a purpose, and we were given a certain set of family for a reason, and everybody's going to leave, so it's temporary. So the sooner you can learn that, even without a death, it's going to serve you well. But if you have the death, try to understand that the time that they left was their time to go. The time that they were with you was their time to be with you. And that also applies to parents and children and spouses, grandparents. We all have a time. Our days are numbered, and we don't know what that number is. But if you can live this life and love and cherish and share and care without that emotional, mental attachment to someone, it'll serve you well, because we're all temporary. So I want to say happy holidays to everybody, and be kind and be gentle to yourself. Understand that as these things come up, and they will, whether it's a song on the radio or a movie on the television set or a traditional family meal or going out to see Christmas lights that you would go see every year with family and your spouse, those type of traditional things that only happen once a year at Christmas. So if you're 5 years into a death, then you've only experienced those things at Christmas time 5 times. So it is fresh. It is new. It doesn't look like it to the other people that haven't experienced it and aren't standing in your shoes. They don't know yet. They'll know one day. Someday they'll know. Everybody will. But to some of us, it happens sooner than to others. So, Soulflower would like to say happy holidays. Be kind. Give yourself a hug. Hold your own hand. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love you. And be happy for all of those around you. Be grateful for all of those around you. They're supposed to be there. And love and cherish without attaching. And enjoy your holiday season. Happy holidays, everybody.